Hello and welcome to, I can't believe I'm saying this, Grassy Surge Podcast, episode 5. It's, it's 2025. It was 2023. Anyway, we'll get into that in a second. Of course, like always, I am with the one and only Septile 720.
Gotta take a sip of drinky there. Hello all, welcome back. It's good to be back.
It is it's a lot. Okay, we're gonna have to do one thing at a time. We're so rusty. So, first of all, we teased you guys for so long. Here it is. This is the official background art for the videos. It is fantastic. You have Septile on the left with his Septile. Wow. You have me on the right with my Leafeon, which, as you guys probably know, based on the previous episodes, used to be my channel mascot. So it's nice that he gets to live on in this piece. And in the back, you have our mascot, the Bulu himself.
The Tapu Bulu.
The Tapu Bulu.
The Tapu
This
Bulu.
piece is fantastic. Do you want to put your thoughts in before I credit the artist?
Oh, with this piece, yeah, no, it's fantastic. Still with all the color and pizzazz of the original. I mean, I'm still liking the detail of the Septile. He still got the little twig in his mouth. I got Ash's Septile, baby. That's the Septile I've been given.
It's a nice subtle anime reference there.
Indeed. And of course, your character right there. Spot on. Fantastic. Love
Oh,
it.
she did so well with the art here. It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of the artist who drew this, they go by Kemong on online. Their art will be credited in the description of every episode from this point onward. They also go by Rocco in some places. It just depends on where you look. But Kemong is what they go by now. So Kemong is fantastic. Thank you so much if you listen to this podcast at all. Your art is fabulous.
We love it.
Yes, love it so much. Okay, so this episode is gonna be a little like episode 4, where it's just kind of us talking, but not for any one particular thing. It's just this one is, we have 2 years to catch up on. It's not something that could be done in the typical 10, 15, 20-minute blurbs that we usually do for our little how's your week.
Section of our podcast. Yeah. No, last time what we went over with, it wasn't just like going over our past. We also went over some of our past playthroughs and stuff like that. Really, it was mostly the catch-up Pokemon episode where we basically revealed everything we've done with Pokemon. Like over the past four-ish years before then. Before that, before this time skip now.
Yeah. Forgive us if this episode's a little jagged, but we'll do the best we can to
get back into the flow of it.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. So, I feel like no better time to get started than now. Would you like to start us off by explaining what happened over the last 720 days? And some change, probably.
You said the specific days, yet you couldn't get the minutes.
No, bruh. I just multiplied 365 by 2. I can't.
Couldn't get the minutes, couldn't get the seconds, couldn't get the milliseconds. Just the days.
It's all right.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right, let's get talking. Let's reveal what's happened. So, let's start from where I was back where I was basically still in college. Thankfully, since then, I have actually graduated college. I got my bachelor's degree, if you're wondering, Bachelor's of Science. Very cool, very tubular and all that jazz.
Science is awesome. Wait, no. Science is amazing, as Ash would say.
Yes. Originally, I wanted to get it in arts, but there was a lot of complications with that, which that could be another whole story on itself, and I'm not going to go into it now, because it's a whole damn thing. And I don't need to have another 10-minute conversation about college, even though I'm not even in the system anymore.
Trust me, he lays awake at night mumbling about science and just how difficult college was. Like, still to this day.
It's not even that college was necessarily difficult. It's like, It was the scheduling conflicts that I had at the beginning. It was very bad. Very, very bad.
Yeah.
Not necessarily when I was in the first college, it was the second college. I had a lot of scheduling issues. But like I said, that's a whole entire story for another day. If I went into it now, we'd be here till kingdom come. Trust me. So after college, what did I mainly do? So, after college, I, of course, needed a job because, all of us need some money. The green stuff, the delicious green stuff. From a month later, from when I actually ended college, I actually was able to get a gig pretty fast, which is surprising compared to like a lot of other jobs because the job market right now. So as of current, from 2023 then to about now, actually, I've been working the same job. I've been working at a retail place, many of you might know as Advanced Auto Parts, which basically deals in the selling and the consuming of auto parts. A day. I basically joined that for a while, and when I actually got the job, I don't think I even told you about this, Gala. When I had gotten this job, it wasn't necessary that the store was developed. The store was actually in opening phases. Like the whole store was going to be opening soon enough. It took about a month, actually. It only took us about a month to get this store opened. Even though we had started like almost end of June, but I think the construction was still going on between like beginning of June or so. So basically, most of the first month or two I was there, we were basically just mostly working on getting stuff set up for the new store. We were doing the shelving, we were doing the inventory, and all this great stuff. I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was a whole process I never experienced before. Basically, just setting up something brand new for people to shop at. You never realize, the setup that goes into these stores. It was honestly an amazing experience, and the people I was working with were fantastic, honestly. We opened the store in that July, and basically from then on out, I was basically working this job. Now, at first, I was a driver at the company. Since then, I transferred to a management position, then I transferred back to a sales position. Right now, I'm still in between a sales and manager right now, as of this time. So that's really in terms of like the job situation. I'm still working at Advance. It's auto parts. It's a living. So in between that as well, basically working, I've been still on my streaming stuffies, like streaming this, streaming that. At the time of this, 2023, that June, what was I streaming? I was streaming. Oh my god, I did Safari Week that year. I remember that. Didn't get a single shiny during that, as always. Like, I've been doing Safari Week streaming it for the last 3 years now on YouTube. Nothing. Just nothing.
Your only shiny was offline during those last 3 years.
Yes, you're right. You're 100% right. Oh, I was doing Sonic Adventure. Oh my god, I was doing Sonic Adventure at that time. Now I remember because I had. Oh my god. Oh my god. That just brought up a memory. So, back during my college graduation, they gave us no shade. Like no shade whatsoever to stand under or sit under so that way our faces weren't directly in the sunlight or the giant ball of fire in the sky, All the sunlight was coming onto my face. Just straight on my face. Now, thankfully, my body was mostly covered because my gown, obviously, goes right onto my feet. So I remember the first like 3 weeks after I gotten out of college, my face was seething in pain. I was so red. I was like cherry red. Like that's how bad it was. It was the worst sunburn I think I've ever had in my entire lifetime.
I don't think I could ever.
I actually showed it off a bit in my fourth stream of Sonic Adventure. It shows up a little bit. It was much better at that time compared to where it was, but like so in between then, basically mostly streaming, working. That's really what the rest of my 2023 was. Just basically streaming, working, streaming. That's about it. Nothing really happened until like the end of 2023. It was basically just mostly between those, like streaming, working, streaming, working. And then the 24 happened, 2024. Jesus Christ. This is a year I'd rather forget, but I will talk about it. So before the actual start to 2024, at the end of 2023, in December 2023, I had made a huge mistake. Like a big mistake. So here's the context. I was in the middle of my job at work. I forget exactly what day it was. I was in the middle of my job at work. I was trying to figure out stuff at work because there were some complications with this and that. All of a sudden, I get this DM in my Discord from this user I once knew. I completely forget the name of this person. I think it was from the old shiny hunting server or something like that.
Okay.
He sent this message saying like, "Oh, I had accidentally reported you and all that." And sure, like you could say like, "Oh, you probably had a conscious mind saying like, oh, you know." I was in the middle of work dealing with stress. So having another stressful thing coming on top of that, my mind was not thinking straight. So then I was going through this process of these steps of trying to fix, quote, fix my account. Put that in big quotations right there. Fixed my account. And in the process, I had dumbly, stupidly, whatever you want to call it, changed my email to this random support email I didn't even have access to. And then I almost got scammed a lot of money, but that's besides the point. I basically, with this one little mistake, locked out my Discord account. Because technically, I did not have access to my email anymore through my main Discord account whatsoever. And I couldn't change it because I had no access to the email. So literally, I was stuck with an account that technically was okay, but technically could do nothing. Now, thankfully, unfortunately, I had to lose the account. The only way to basically regain my access to everything with Discord, I had to make a new account. Now, thankfully, through that process, my main laptop, because originally I thought I lost access to the account completely when I had logged out of my phone and all that. I thought, oh my God, it's over. I don't have access to my account anymore. I can't get my stuff. I can't get my Discord server, which I had created a while back. Yeah, I created an official Discord server for my channel. Sweet. I thought I lost access to that. I thought I lost access to everything. I lost everything until my computer was still logged in to that Discord account. I never disconnected it. Even though I had logged into a new one, it was logging into my old one. So before I lost access one last time, I basically transferred everything to the new account. Transferred my server, transferred the friends, and everything else. I put it onto the new account and then just deleted the other account because I didn't want that account going loose or anything like that. Somebody taking control of it, and then it's a whole damn thing. So now I've had this new account for about 2 years now, which is crazy. I lost the account which was originally made in 2018. So that did kind of suck. But I mean, compared to that, by 2024, Jesus Christ, 2024. So 2024 was probably one of the worst years of my entire life. So to start off in 2024, January 5th or 6th, to my recollection, a few weeks back, we had noticed there was something up with my little pup Benji. I had a pup named Benji. We had found out that something was up. Like originally, it was something wrong with his eyes. They were puffing up, like he was having some type of like reaction or something like that. So we went, okay, we'll just get some medicine for that. He was feeling fine after that. But then once we got that issue solved, all of a sudden, everything came at once. He wasn't eating, he wasn't drinking, could barely walk. Turns out there was a mass on his back. Now, we don't know if it was ever cancer or something else in between, but it basically, this was causing him to suffer. So we had made the decision to put him down.
Weirdly enough, I assume something didn't really allow me to ask enough questions about it. But this is actually the first time hearing of what caused his passing.
Yeah, like I said, I talked about it once on a YouTube video paying tribute to him, but no, I don't really talk about it because obviously it's something I don't want to remember, but I'm willing to talk about it now because it has been a year, to be fair, and you know, it was that was the first strike. The first really bad hit to me. Oh god, then there's the second and third thing that happened. Let's get into those now. So, after that, it was a good couple months, Nothing really happened. Really, it's just more work, more streaming. Let's see, what did I do during that time in terms of streams? Oh my god, I was doing PMD, I think, throughout that. PMD Explorers Mystery Dungeon EOS Remixed. Oh, that was so good.
We will get to that when we get to my 2 years.
Yes, but let me tell you, that was one of the things that kept me sane. I was doing a lot of Mario RPGs and stuff. That was so good, the streaming stuff. I was so happy with all the streams I was doing. Even though I did 2 Mario RPGs after another, where I did Superstar Saga and then Paper Mario. And then the RPG remake. Oh god, I tortured myself. So, in between all that, the nice happy times with the streaming and all that, April came. April was an interesting month because what happened in April is, I believe this happened I want to say April 10th, 2024. So, I basically got into something I never thought would happen with my vehicle. So, I was driving to work that morning. It was a wet morning, it was a rainy morning. And I basically had taken a shortcut through one of the expressways that are around my place to get to work, so that way I could get there on time. When the exit ramp was coming up, it was coming up fast. And I was technically in the lane I wasn't supposed to be in terms of I was in the middle lane and I had to get to the right lane. Or I think I was in the right lane, but I was almost passing the exit lane. So I had to quickly, kind of swerve over into that lane to get onto the exit. And everything was fine for a moment. I got on the exit ramp, everything was fine. And then, all of a sudden, without any warning, anything whatsoever, I lost control of my car. I lost complete control. Now, at the time, I was driving a 1998 Nissan Pathfinder at the time of this. I had lost complete control. I could not brake, I couldn't steer it. So before I know it, I'm slipping on the exit ramp, and then all of a sudden, I'm slipping off into the mud. There was a grass patch that basically was all muddied up because of the rain, obviously. So when I was sliding on the mud for a good maybe 30 seconds at least. Then all of a sudden, my front driver's side wheel gets stuck in a hole, and then the car goes up in the air and then flops right back down. The amount of luck that happened that day was probably the most. I can't even describe how I'm still here in terms of how am I alive right now? Because the car could have completely flipped over by touching that hole, by getting dug into that hole. 2, there was a patch of trees right near the grass that I could have slipped into and crashed into too. 3, I almost got completely stuck in that mud because it was mud. Obviously, cars and mud do not mix. But thankfully, that Pathfinder, whatever life she had left before I had brought her for repairs, she trudged through that mud by herself and was able to get back on the road, and I was able to get to work somehow. Even through all that. That wheel was messed up. The axles and stuff like that, everything was messed up. There was a light going on. There was literally smoke. As soon as the thing happened, there was smoke coming out of the freaking car and everything. It was insane. It was legit insane. And I thank whoever was protecting me that day for that, for nothing happening to me. So let's just move on. Not even a month later, strike 3. And this one hit hard. My grandmother had been diagnosed with cancer back in 2020. She had battled hard. Throughout the years that we still had her, she fought. But then May the 6th, 2020 happened. On this day specifically too, at work, I was actually going to be starting my opening shifts. Previously, I had done just the closing shifts. And sometimes the mid-morning shifts. But this is the first time I was actually opening the store with my general manager so he could teach me. I remember on that day, 5 o'clock in the morning. I was just sleeping, and then all of a sudden, lights flashing on, mother at my door, and she said to me, Grandma has passed. I could not believe it. And the day, like a couple days prior, I had seen her just sleeping. And to all of a sudden, a couple days later, just to hear those words. I remember after that, I had went to the second floor of my house and I just stood up there. I didn't say a word. I couldn't because I had no idea what to say. That was really hard.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, basically 2024 was like the double whammy in terms of just losing a lot. So, yeah, and my 2024 was not the best. It really wasn't. There was a high though. Besides the streaming and all that in late of 2024, July last year, um, I actually finally got my first car. Well, I like I said, I had a car, the 1998, but I actually finally purchased my first ever car, like with my money. I did fully purchase it that day. I'm financing it now, but right now I'm driving a beautiful 2024 Nissan Kicks. It's this beautiful orange color. I believe they call it Monarch Orange. Classy car. I love it to death. I named it Brittany after Brittany from the Scarlet and Violet co-op playthrough. Hey, didn't expect that to come in. A reference to
Yet
that.
another episode that references the playthrough.
I couldn't help it. It was right there, Gala. I couldn't help. So yeah, that was a really good high, honestly, for that year. And 2024 was actually the first time, besides the co-op playthrough, it was November 2024, I'd come up with this big idea for a new YouTube project. Basically, I had watched these AI videos where basically they had like the main protagonist from the first anime series, Yuki, Kaiba, Joey. They were ranking the structure decks or putting them into a tier list. And I was thinking, what if I did that? But instead of just tier listing the structure decks, actually doing mirror matches with them and then ranking. So I developed this idea, this big idea. I'd gotten a co-host for it, somebody I wanted to work with on it, and we called it the Struckverse. My God, I love the Struckverse. While the editing is a pain in my ass, it is probably one of the most funnest times I've ever had working on a YouTube video, period. This series in general has just been, it was a dream to work on an actual like Yu-Gi-Oh type series. Maybe not necessarily a live action, but just a Yu-Gi-Oh series to call my own, or I should say, me and Xadris' series. It's not just my own series, it's our series. And we just actually recorded a couple episodes a few days ago, and oh my God. Besides the streams, like, is the most fun I've had. So, yeah. So pretty much most of my 2025 so far has mostly just been work, streaming, and creating some episodes of Struckverse. That's basically what most of my 2025 has been. And yeah, that's really been mostly what I've been up to these last 2 years. A lot of really cool highs with the streaming stuff on YouTube. I've been having a lot of fun streaming. So much fun. It's mostly just been a cool little journey just to be streaming every week and all that. It's been fun. It's been great. And yeah, that's really been what I've been up to these last 2 years. I'm trying to still move forward on myself. I'm trying to keep myself busy with at least YouTube for a while, and obviously. So it's not the perfect balance, I will admit, but you know what? It's fun as hell. So what can I complain about? So I think I've had enough talking about my story. Miss Gala, if you'd please.
Okay, so to give you a closing statement of my reaction to all of that, wow, that was a lot deeper than I thought it would be. That was a tearjerker. And that is not me trying to be funny. Phew. Okay. Well, um, I don't know where to start. So in 2023, I had just finally, for the first time in my life, moved out on my own to just be an adult. It took me an extra year, but I got out on my own and I had my own place and it was great. But I something had happened. I mentioned in a previous episode that my working speed wasn't up to par. I eventually was let go because of it. And then I worked a different job that I mentioned had a better schedule. I don't know which episode that's in, if that's even an episode. I'm not sure. But I had a different
Is
job,
this it? Sorry to interrupt. Is this the chicken place again?
the gas station job.
Oh, the gas station job. Yeah, I don't think you ever mentioned that. No, you never mentioned that.
I never mentioned the gas station job. Okay, so I
No.
had the chicken job that I had in Texas initially. I had that brought with me to Illinois when I lived in Illinois. And then I moved on to a warehouse job and that worked out fine, but I couldn't meet their standards. They eventually closed down due to bad management. That should tell you all you need to know. And then I moved on to a gas station job that was a lot closer to home. And that job was fine. But then another new thing that isn't has not been mentioned on the Grassy Surge podcast, I got sick. I'll keep this short and sweet. We could talk about it more in depth sometime in the future, but simply put, I have a chronic illness. It's called cystic fibrosis. If you'd like to learn more about it, I will probably have it labeled on screen and you could look more into it. But basically, I get sick a lot. And so I got sick and I didn't have proper care. I was still learning how to adult, so I didn't really know how to get things set up. So I had to get flown back to Texas to go see my doctors. And that resulted in me having to move back in with family. And I kind of just closed off for a while. I wasn't feeling the greatest. But in October, yes, in October of 2023, I decided that I was done with doing nothing. And I was looking through like what was going on, like that was trendy, and I had noticed that for whatever reason, Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky started to show up again in people's feeds, and I was trying to figure out like where it was coming from, and I found out that people were making ROM hacks of Explorers of Sky, and that was completely unheard of. I know that like the main series had a lot of ROM hacks, but I never knew Mystery Dungeon had such an active ROM hacking scene. And I got interested and I found out that the engine used to make these games is so user friendly that I actually started making a ROM hack of my own. I reached out to a few of my friends, including Septile, asking, have you played Mystery Dungeon before? And Septile said he hadn't.
Nope, never played one in my life.
And I decided that it was a great opportunity after running through learning the ropes of the engine. I was like, what if I modified the starters so that he could play as Trico and Beldum, his two favorite Pokemon, through the game with? So
Mhm.
I modified some files. I got Beldum to be his starter and I made it shiny, and then I got him to be able to use Trico as his partner. And I did a few other things, I added like a little less than like 100 new Pokemon, just, fan favorites of mine and my friends, and I shipped it out, thinking nothing of it. I only planned to give it to my friends and let them play it. Like I was planning on like Septel have it like maybe stream it, and a few of my other plans play it. That was all I was planning on doing. But on a one-off idea, I noticed that there was a application to put your hack on the actual official website of the engine. And I decided, why not? I sent him an application, I explained what the hack was about, and for whatever reason, they put it up on the website. And I did that as well as I used Project Pokemon, which is a pretty popular place for a lot of ROM hacks. I put my hack on both of those websites and it blew up. It blew up. Like, it's insane how many people have seen it. Like, it's about 200,000 people, 2 to 300,000 people have seen this ROM hack
As of this recording,
as of this recording.
Jesus, that's crazy.
It's insane just how popular it's gotten since I started working on it. It's fantastic. I started seeing like people like flood into the official Discord that I made for it, to the point where now that is sitting at 1,800 people. So 1.8K, that's a lot of people in a Discord server. And my personal record before was my shiny hunting Discord, which peaked at 500 before that crashed and burned. So
Yeah,
I'm still just reeling in just the fact of just how popular it got. Like, holy. And so I continued working on it, and I released a 2.0, which came out with like a whole bunch of new Pokemon. I completely overhauled the main story's dialogue, and cutscenes and stuff got revamped a little bit. And I did so much to like improve the game. And here's the best part. I put myself in the game. Gallo the Leafeon was a character in the game and replaces Grovyle. And that was the little surprise that I wanted to give to Sceptile in particular, because if you know the story of Explorers of Sky, and I won't put any spoilers here, Grovyle's a really important character and has some twists and turns when it comes to the player character, for example. So it was very important to me that I replace Grovyle with Leafeon specifically. If I wanted to add myself to the game, it was going to be him, because it just made the most sense. It was the character that would show up enough. It was the character that would eventually relay the message to my friend, which I can't say because of spoilers, but it's really heartwarming. And that was the reason why I wanted to do it. And people just wanted more. And other life things got in the way, and I had been working on the game a little too much to the point where I did get burnt out. Currently it is on indefinite hiatus, as 3.0 is currently like in the works. I haven't decided whether it's going to stay that way for a while or not a while. I'm not sure. But all I do know is that that was a fantastic learning experience. I learned so many things. I made so many connections. It's fantastic. It was a great experience all around. Never thought I'd ever be seen by more than 10, 20,000 people. And here I am with 200,000 seeing the Project Pokemon page and 8,000 people seeing the trailer, and just my hack showing up on the first page of Google when it comes to discussing ROM hacks of Explorers of Sky, period. Like, the only one that's more popular than mine is Alpha, but Alpha deserves it. Holy. But it's insane. Insane milestone. Genuinely. I mentioned how I had moved back to Texas, and I was getting back on my feet during this time of working on the game. I had finally gotten back on my feet, and I decided it was about time that I find a new place to live. I, get back out on my own and try again, get things going and all that stuff. And I was initially planning on living alone, but it didn't really work out. I couldn't get another job, partially because that sickness that I caught had really weighed me down. I'm not as strong as I used to be, so I wasn't able to hold a job, nor was I able to find one. Texas is not a great area for finding jobs, from what I've seen. They mostly wanted high school students. So I moved in with some roommates, and that leads into early 2024. So I'm not going to discuss any private details. However, what I will say is that trying to live out on my own didn't work. It just didn't work. I started losing money, and everybody in our generation knows just how hard it is with living expenses. The cost of living has gone up exponentially, especially in the last 4 years. It is so bad. We won't make it about politics on this podcast, but suffice to say, it hit me too. And it just wasn't sustainable to live on my own. On top of the fact that I couldn't get a job, I didn't have the energy for it. So I was relying on what income I could make or I could get. And so I was unable to live alone. And I mentioned the burnout of my game, and then Right. And then eventually, uh, there's two major things that happened in my life during that year that is unrelated to any of the personal living situations. First of which being that for the first time in my life, I got a kidney stone.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
And oh my stars, that was awful. So I started noticing that I was having really awkward lower back pain and just pain in the general like waistband area, as well as like just the lower quarter of my spine. And it was fine at first, but I noticed some discomfort. And then 5 o'clock one morning, it just hit. I woke up in the middle of my sleep. I shot open and I couldn't move. I was immobilized by pain. My back was locked up. I couldn't even turn. I was just stuck in bed. I tried calling people and panicking, going, what is going on? Did I twist my back? Am I not going to be able to walk anymore? I'm scared. I panicked even further, and then I called for an ambulance, which was a bit excessive. I called for an ambulance, got brought to the emergency room, and this is the only TMI, so a little TMI warning. I'm guessing skip like 15 seconds ahead if you don't want to hear it. They did a sample and said sample, if you know what a kidney stone does and where it's located. That sample was coffee brown. Yeah, so they said luckily enough it was small enough to pass, but just barely. They didn't want intervention because intervention is worse than letting it pass through naturally, even if the chance of scarring or whatever other problems. So they said, unfortunately, you're just gonna have to pass it. It'll pass within the month. Here's hydrocodone. And another one that was specifically kidney related for pain. They said, here's some crazy strong drugs. Survive. You'll be fine. And I was like, okay. Now, so the problem is, at the same time, I had planned a road trip to the eastern states. Not for Septal or anything. I had a friend in the Northeast that I wanted to visit, and I'd never been to New England outside of Boston for a convention a couple years ago. And so I wanted to go. I wanted to go meet this friend, and it seemed like it would have been fine. And then I got the kidney stone, and I was like, I've already dedicated some money to this. I still want to try to go. So I made the bad decision to get in my car and drive the 30 hours from Texas up to the northeastern states on hydrocodone. And an hour and a half in the Texas single lane highways, where one car is going one way 70 miles an hour, the other car is going the other way 70 miles an hour. I was driving 70 miles an hour, and there was a bit of traffic on the left side. I think there was like a grandma at the front of the line. I don't know. I don't know. I was driving my 70, 71, 72, whatever, sticking to the speed zone. For legal reasons, I stuck to the speed zone. Speed limit. And I was just going, I was cruising, listening to music, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, why is there a car driving on my lane towards me going 80? That's not supposed to happen. So suddenly, there was a car driving towards me at 80 miles an hour. Well, I was going 70 miles an hour towards that car. I only had one choice. Swerve my ass into the dirt. Now, on hydrocodone, I can't emphasize this enough. I grab the wheel, I jerk the wheel off the road, my car flies off into a field. I did that, and then I noticed myself about to hit a fence, so I swerved the other way, and my car jerked off the dirt and the grass back onto the road, bouncing onto the road into the other lane on opposing traffic. So I swerved the wheel again, managing to, with all these constant tire jerks, slow my car down enough to pummel into the dirt and not hit anything. Managing to dodge. One of the bystanders told me I dodged 5 cars, including the one going at me at 70, 80 miles an hour. I dodged 5 cars. I hit nobody. I damaged nothing besides the dirt and my car, probably. And somehow I was okay. I don't know what Super Saiyan God mode came through my brain in that moment, but I was able to have complete control over that situation. A bunch of people pulled over and crossed the street, make sure I was okay, calling me a hero, saying, holy crap, that was almost so much worse. Because if that car and I hit head on, we would have at least totaled like 2 or 3 other cars at that speed. 100%.
Yeah, probably you would have definitely had a pile up, definitely.
And what's worse is my dumbass started my car back up, called my friend, said that I was okay, and went on my merry way up to the northeastern state as if nothing happened. And I spent that entire road trip and that entire event on hydrocodone. Feels so bad for my friends up there because they were just having to deal with me just out of my mind. Oh gosh, it was so bad. But actually that happened April 2024. Yeah, both of those were in April.
So we both had an incident with the car in frickin' April of 2024 of all things?
Yeah, I think so.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I just
Why do I not remember this?
Well, here's the thing.
Did you tell me this in detail? Did you tell me this in detail? Please tell me you did.
Or did you
not?
I'm pretty sure I did. But here's the next major thing as to why this podcast didn't return sooner. 2024 was such a rock bottom year all around in general. That I kind of disappeared from the internet in general.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
So if anybody who's watching this knows me from before 2025, then you might know that I had like a really big gap in videos. My reveal of a project that I'm going to get to when I get to 2025 versus my last shiny hunting video has a gap between 2023 and 2025. That is just my life. My life went on hold, on complete dead pause, which is why I only knew about Benj and the grandmother. I didn't know any of the details. I wasn't around enough to be there.
Well, the thing is like, I believe I told you it happened. I just didn't tell you how it happened. I just told you.
Yeah, you mentioned that your grandmother had passed away and that your dog had passed away, and you briefly explained just it was their time in both cases, one way or another, but we didn't ever have the time for
me to actually explain what happened. I never
Yeah.
fully explained it.
And that also went for me. A lot of the stuff that was going on in my life over 2024, a lot of them I can't say on recording. A lot of that was going on. Just I never really got a chance to explain to you either. That's also what's great about this podcast is that a lot of times we are somehow telling each other stuff for the first time, and that's what's really cool about this is that we also get to know each other through this, which just as much as you guys get to know us as people.
Even though me and Gala have known each other now for
7 years.
7 years.
7 years, which is very different from the 4 that we said on one random moment in another episode. I'm pretty sure it's
Well, probably would have been close to. It would have been close to 5.
Yeah. But yeah. So that was 2024 for the most part. I'm skimming through my notes. So yeah, I got most of it. Eventually, things weren't working out, and I needed to move again. Back in with family, funnily enough. And my parents had moved to the eastern states, and so that was where I went. I am now in Maryland. It's a really pretty state, and it's a lot better for my health. It's quite nice, actually. And I've been doing a bit better, but still about the same health-wise. But yeah, now I'm in Maryland, and this leads us into pretty early 2025. 2024 otherwise was uneventful in terms of what I can or should say. So 2025 was quite interesting. I decided it was about time, now that I have all this time on my hands. I said, you know what? It's now. I'm going to just do it. YouTube, streaming, Twitch, everything, it's happening. It's finally time I say enough is enough. There's no more waiting. So I went to the drawing board. I said, okay, what do I want to do for my channel? What do I want to do for my brand? What am I doing? I knew making games was a new passion of mine, but it isn't something I want. That's not all I want to do. Um, I want to be an entertainer. My life goal, my dream in life, which is something I don't think we've discussed yet. So I'm going to discuss it briefly here and over and over, on and off, more detail as this podcast series goes on. My goal is to make the world laugh at least once in my life. My goal is to make the world laugh. So I want to be an entertainer. And one idea that always crossed my mind that I in fact tried on a random stream, I had purchased a Leafeon model for it and used it all of once or twice. And I decided I wanted to become a VTuber.
Oh yeah, I remember that Leafeon model. Yeah.
Yeah, the Leafeon VTuber model that I bought for like $5.
Mm. Yeah, I remember that. Oh god.
So yeah, I decided I wanted to be a VTuber. And now the reason for my design looking the way it does, I think it is time to discuss the first major change in my life, period. I have come out as transgender in February, and it has changed my life. Um, I think that this type of episode, like this type of discussion, requires its own episode if it needs one. I don't think I need to dwell on it much, other than the fact that it's going as well as it can. Because I've always been interested in more feminine presenting ideas or ways of expression, and so I wanted to create a VTuber model that would become the face of the Gala 1D channel. And by the way, my username changed from Gala Raygon to Gala 1D. Gala Raygon is debunked. It is gone. It was kind of a sloppy creation. It was kind of cool at the time, but it's a bit not cool no more. So I came up with Gala 1D, which simply put, Gala short for galaxy, and the time is in the time dimension, aka the first dimension. And as an acronym, Gala 1D literally is an anagram. Well, no, not an anagram. It is a synonym for space-time, the concept of space-time in general. And I love space and time. I love sci-fi and all that stuff like that. And I'm just a huge science nerd in general. So I figured that name worked best because that's what the Gala and Gala Raygon was too. Gala was also still galaxy, but also mostly galactic at the time. But again, I don't really associate with that name anymore. So yeah. And so I created a VTuber. She is a Galaxy Vox. She has various butterfly aesthetics but the ribbon slash mascot of my cystic fibrosis illness is actually a butterfly, more specifically a purple butterfly, but I already had purple, so I went blue. A purple butterfly is the mascot of my illness, so I figured having butterfly aesthetics scattered across my design made the most sense, and it's honestly really adorable. That butterfly bow on her ear is so cute, and it makes me so happy to look at. And if you look closely, and I could probably show off a picture as well, there is, believe it or not, a shiny charm around her neck to represent everything you need to know in a single glance about my love for Pokemon, all in one little necklace. And the design comes together so nicely. I will gladly talk more about my VTuber design and my VTuber journey in a future episode, if need be, if you guys are interested. But otherwise, yeah, that's 2023, 4, and 5.
Jesus, we both had a lot happening, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot. The last thing to mention is that in 2023 I mentioned that I had started streaming, or that I was actively working on doing streaming. I had quit for the last 2
Mhm.
years, and I'm
Yeah.
actually starting back up on September 4th when a certain bug game comes out. That is all I will say.
Certain bug game. Ha ha, funny bug game coming out. I'm kidding. It's not funny bug game. It's a beautiful bug game.
I'm so excited. Um, but
I actually
yeah,
forgot to mention one other thing with my recap real quick. I completely
okay.
forgot about this. In both years of so far 2023 and 2024, I've actually attended New York City Comic Con.
No, yeah.
Yeah, God, I went on the most possible busiest day it could have been. It was the Saturday. Oh my God. Comic Con on a Saturday? You think like one of those other cons like out there are bad? Like, I don't know, like some of the smaller ones or something like that? Jesus Christ, New York Comic Con on the Saturday is a freaking nightmare to try to traverse. It was like a mall on its heyday.
I hear California and New York are like the busiest Comic Cons.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Considering what kind of guests they get out there and all that, and their
Mm-hmm.
location too, it's like almost midtown New York City. I mean they were fun. I basically one of my friends invited me to go to Comic Con with him, and I said, okay, yeah, sure, I'll come. You're paying for a ticket, so you got an extra ticket, so okay, hell yeah, I'm coming. So Comic Con's interesting. I'll say that. I feel like with Comic Con too, like sometimes they've gone a bit more into like the anime aesthetic compared to a lot of the other cultural things. They might be stepping down a bit from anime for the next one, it looks like. They might be introducing culture into it compared to just being anime related. So we'll see what happens. Because I'm actually going this year again.
Oh, there you go.
3 year, yeah. So I'll be going on instead of the Saturday actually. This time we'll be going on the Sunday, which I believe is like I think the 12th. Yeah, the 12th of October.
Oh my gosh, I bet that entire convention will be talking about ZA.
Is that when it comes out? No.
It comes out on the 16th.
No way.
So yeah, they'll probably all be talking about it, yeah.
Eels. And wow, week right after that will be CA. That's crazy.
Right?
That's crazy.
I mean,
There's so much left to talk about. So much left to go and delve right back into after 2 years hiatus.
yeah.
But I think unfortunately for this time we have run out of time.
We only planned on discussing the catch up, and it has gone through without a hitch, surprisingly almost at an hour even. We're only like 8 minutes over. So I mean, yeah. Um happy 2025, I guess. Like 8 months too
Happy
late.
happy 2025, 8 months later, or 9 months technically now.
Almost
Nine
nine,
months.
yeah. So
Happy
um
2025. Happy New Year. Woo!
So, yeah, the last thing we wanted to talk about is how things will be structured. I believe we were meant to mention this at the very start. We did not.
We did. We just went right into it. Oh my god.
So, we want to quickly discuss the new structure of this channel. First of all, it's on its own channel. I had like kept mentioning in 2023 how it was like on my channel and how I was the host and who was the co-host, and sometimes there'd be like guests and stuff, and there just hasn't been one yet. So we're getting all this stuff figured out. We do have ideas for guests, and we have a big bucket list of ideas for episodes we want to do. So do not worry. This is going to be a series that sticks around. That is for sure. No matter what's going on in our lives, we'll always set aside an hour or two for this. Don't worry.
Oh, and also with this now. So basically, me and Gala, we were basically like Gala was saying, it's not gonna be on anyone's channel anymore. It wasn't gonna go on mine, it's not going back to Gala's. It's now we're a joint channel. So basically this series has basically become me and Gala's like joint venture now. So basically most of the time it's going to be mostly me and Gala, but we have some other plans to do some stuff with some guests in the future.
There may be episodes that Septal does alone, and there may be episodes that I do alone. It's to broaden the scope of exactly what we can talk about, because we are still on the younger side of the human expected life expectancy. So we haven't experienced a whole lot compared to a lot of other podcasters. So we want to have the opportunity to talk about as many things as possible while we, to have things to upload in between big trends. For example, to keep things Pokemon related, to not reveal anything too much, there is the only thing we can say for sure is that ZA is 100% an episode of its own.
No, yeah, for sure.
So stuff like that, and we have to think about like what episodes do we release between August till October, and so that's where the bucket list or extra guests or doing solo ventures is a great way to fill the space, and it should broaden our scopes to be able to do much more.
Also, these extra podcasts where we basically go by ourselves, it will allow us also to talk about topics that, even though me and Gala might know about, either Gala knows more about it or I know more about it. So this will give us both an avenue to basically talk about things we've wanted to talk about in broader detail compared to basically trying to explain everything to each other. Of course, there might be episodes where we still come back together and maybe talk about the topic, maybe if we get interested in it. But this will allow us both to explore more avenues compared to just us.
Eloquently put. Yay! So
yeah,
I think that actually wraps things up. We realized that we just didn't talk about the structure. That the whole point of everything that's been going on that is right in your guys' faces. So so from this point onwards, things should be coming out in a pretty standard pre-planned structure. Wow, that was a sentence. We're starting off with I'm
sorry.
You're all good. Okay, so we're going to start off with bi-weekly. An episode, I believe, if I pull out my notes, it should be a new episode every 2 weeks, and they should be coming out on the Saturdays. If we're wrong, we'll correct yourselves in a comment or a description or whatever. But the plan is every other Saturday, with depending on when schedules line up, there might be times where a solo venture comes out in the Saturdays in between. It really just depends on how many episodes we need out before a certain time or before a certain trend. We'll just do our best. But that is actually, for real, all we have for this episode. Third time's the charm.
Third time's the charm. Yeah, I say in the beginning, look, we're out of time. Then Gal is like, oh, we have something more to talk about. I'm like, okay, let's do that. And then it's like, oh, now we're done with that thing. Let's wrap it up. But now it's like, oh, wait, I have another thing to talk about. Hey.
What he said.
Am I wrong?
No.
Exactly. See, I'm too smart for this. Yeah, I'm kidding. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this has been as I was saying to Gala earlier, revival of the Surge. The revival.
The grassy terrain is here to stay.
Yeah.
Get healed, everybody. Yes, I brought that dumb bit back.
We're all healing up together.
Yippee.
Hey.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.